There's a strange kind of silence some people carry with them. Not the peaceful kind, the empty kind. A silence so deep that when you look at them, you can't read a single thing. Their face doesn't move. Their eyes don't shift. No warmth, no reaction, nothing. And for a moment, you find yourself wondering, what's going on in there? Are they hiding something? Are they protecting themselves? Or do they just not feel the way everyone else does? Most people show at least a fragment of what's happening inside. Emotionally cold people don't. They move through the world like observers, not participants, like they're watching life from behind glass. Detached, calm, unreadable. Some mistake that calmness for emptiness, but emotional coldness isn't empty. It's layered, it's structured, it's a strategy, it's a wound, and sometimes it's a weapon. Because behind the blank expression, there is always a story, a reason, a psychology. And once you understand it, you'll start recognizing the patterns in people around you, or even in yourself. So today we go deep into the world of emotional coldness, a world more complicated, more human, and far stranger than most people realize. Type 1. The frozen survivor. The emotionally cold person created by trauma. Some people aren't born cold, life turns them cold. And it usually starts earlier than anyone notices. A child who learned love came with conditions. A child who learned that expressing emotion brought punishment, or criticism, or betrayal. A child who cried and nobody came. Their developing brain forms a rule. Feelings are dangerous. Psychologists call this emotional conditioning. It's when vulnerability becomes tied to pain. Their nervous system starts treating emotions like threats. So instead of expressing, they suppress. Instead of reaching out, they retreat. Instead of asking for comfort, they build walls. And by the time they're adults, their silence becomes their shield. They keep conversations surface level, polite, safe, distant. They don't overshare. They don't ask for help. They don't open doors that could hurt again. Intimacy feels like exposure. Closeness feels like risk. Crying feels like failure. And yet, deep inside, they care more than anyone else. That's the tragedy. Their emotional coldness isn't apathy. It's fear. It's self-protection. It's a survival strategy that worked when they were young, but now it costs them connection. They walk through life with a heart that wants warmth and a mind that refuses to allow it. This is the coldness born from pain, the kind that looks calm on the surface, but shakes beneath it. Type 2. The analytical mind. The emotionally cold person created by logic. This type isn't cold because they were hurt. They're cold because they're wired differently. Hyper-rational, detail-oriented, naturally introverted. They navigate life through logic, not emotion. Feelings? To them, feelings are noise, static, interference. Imagine telling them, "I'm sad." They won't say, "I'm here for you." They'll say, "Okay, what's the cause? Let's fix it." Not because they don't care, but because their brain genuinely believes that solving the problem is caring. They don't respond emotionally because they're not designed to. They interpret the world like a puzzle, and puzzles don't require empathy. They require precision. Their love is shown in actions, not affection. Fixing your car, helping with your project, quietly taking care of the things you didn't even notice were breaking. But emotional conversations, that drains them, confuses them, overloads them. Their coldness isn't rejection. It's simply the natural output of a mind that values structure over sentiment. Type 3. The narcissistic shell. The emotionally cold person created by ego defense. This is where emotional coldness becomes deceptive. Because narcissistic types look warm on the outside, charming, confident, charismatic. But emotionally, they're freezing, colder than a locked vault in winter. Psychology tells us the root of narcissism isn't strength, it's fragile self-esteem covered by a shiny, polished ego. They avoid real feelings because vulnerability feels like death, like danger, like giving someone a weapon that could be used against them. They crave admiration. They love being admired. But empathy? That's where the temperature drops. Other people's emotions feel like distractions, inconveniences, background noise. They're not villains. They're people who never learned how to be emotionally safe. They grew up believing that love must be earned, performed, proven. So now, as adults, they control the narrative. They stay polished, distant, untouchable. And the colder they appear, the more fragile they actually are.
Type 4. The silent judge. The emotionally cold person created by observation. This is a mysterious one, the quiet one, the unreadable one. Not because they're scared, not because they're hurt, but because they're watching. Always watching. They move through the world like detectives in their own movie, observing behavior, reading patterns, studying intentions. They reveal nothing because revealing anything feels premature. To them, emotions are signals, and signals can expose weakness. So they keep their cards hidden. They show nothing. Not because they don't feel, but because they want to understand you before they understand them. People call them intimidating. Some call them arrogant. Some call them cold. But in reality, they're cautious, selective, deliberate. And once you earn their trust, their real trust, they become some of the most loyal people you'll meet. But earning it, that's another story entirely.